Radiohead?
Cause I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell I'm doing here?
So today's topic, Preach has this really interesting theory on music and why it's changed so much over the years in certain genres, why certain genres have completely faded like rock music. I told you this, I love funk music.
Yeah, and I get
Love it.
I love it too.
And to be clear, when we say funk music, I'm talking about stuff like Sly and the Family Stone. I'm talking stuff like Funkadelic. Who's the guy? Well, obviously Earth, Wind & Fire is a pretty good example, but a little bit different. George Benson's a good one.
Ooh, you try everything.
Yeah.
But that's not funk, but that's some other shit.
Bobby Caldwell.
Yeah. You try everything.
Big fan. But one thing I've noticed is that funk music over the last 15 years, there's new artists who come up, but they don't do it properly. It doesn't grip people like what funk used to do.
The music didn't change. It's the drugs that did. I think there's a correlation with the drugs they were doing and how the music came out.
Okay.
They were a lot of psychedelics back in the days, you know, Jimi Hendrix, all of that. The way the guitar was played is not the same. I believe they were playing and doing songs and they were seeing things with the drugs that they were using. And then the drugs changed, so the style changed. I mean, that song like, welcome to the jungle.
Okay.
We're up on the game. The beginning of that is very psychedelic. Not just, you know, that cocoa. It's other things.
Yeah.
It's other drug that makes you see things, you know what I mean? What they were taking just changed. You take the hip hop, back then it was very straightforward. Like, there were a lot of weed.
But it's interesting because it had a lot of Jamaican references at the time.
Yeah, because there was a lot of Jamaicans back then. It changed. It was not just weed at first. It was other things and then other things. And then now it's like all lean and synthetic things that makes you just mellow down. That's why the beat went from Onyx Slam to the Migos, which is much mellow. And the pattern that they use to talk, they repeat a lot of stuff because that's what it makes you do.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah. So I think that's what happened, you know?
But even the dancing reflects that. It used to be high energy, jumping around, whereas now it's completely like...
It's one thing, you know?
Right? So it's a different... Yeah.
That's a dance. In the 90s, that was never dance. That's
remember the Running Man?
Your Running Man had to be energetic. It was just everything changed. Back then as well, you know, there was dance music, there was house music, it was a lot of speed and other things that makes you hype. Now it's really different. Look at reggae. The reggae, they were on what? Yeah, that Puff Puff Pass. What are they on now? Same thing. Did the reggae change? No, the dancehall did, because the dancehalls were following the trends of the hip hop. And the dancehall did, but the reggae is still on the same thing. And the mood hasn't changed that much from the 70s to now. The rock steady and all of that, it didn't really change. Boom. Do-do-doom, do-doom, doom, doom. They're reusing the same beats as back then. Look at new artists are coming out. They're young, but they're still on the same kind of flow. The beats are kind of the same. Maybe there's more of an influence from hip hop, yes, but the flow still stays the same.
Yeah.
So
that's so interesting. A lot of people don't recognize this, but most of the artists that used to be prominent from the 70s till the late 2000s, like, they were all on something. They were all taking substances in their creative process. Yeah. Most of them admit it in their music or in their biographies afterwards. Yeah. There's pretty much no artist you can name that kept them clean the whole time.
Yeah. And it's funny because the old school hip hop, I was talking to you about that before, and the old school hip hop heads are complaining about the new school hip hop heads because, oh yeah, they're doing that mumble rap. But back then they were talking about selling crack, where all the mumble rappers are the products of the people they were selling crack to.
Do you think those two are necessarily related though? Because I'm
not gonna say it's necessary. No, I'm not saying it's exactly that. I'm saying it's funny that.
I also raised something else. Is like, people nowadays, from what I've come to understand, don't study music.
No, they don't.
That was super interesting to me. It's like the study of actual, like, how to make music, that breakdown. That shit's out the window.
Actually, back then, there was only one person that was really bad at what he was doing. It was Ringo from the Beatles. He was a horrible drummer.
Who's the old guy right now, the black guy who exposed him? Quincy Jones. Because he said he worked with the Beatles.
Yeah,
and he said the drummer there was just terrible.
Yeah.
So they had to replace him. Basically, nowadays, a lot of people don't study music. for me, that study of music is so important. You can be talented, and that's great. But if you don't have a fundamental understanding of how things work, not only will you not last, but your work will not last. It's like NBA players who don't have their fundamentals down.
Yeah.
You can be as talented as you want, and it'll give you 3-4 year spurts.
Yeah.
But longevity, you have to understand the game itself in
course.
order to be able to
You're
last
just
and to
winging it.
maximize your ability to win.
Yeah.
And so there's always that separation. It's even like that with comedy. Like people don't have a fundamental understanding. And so they can put out some good content for a short period. But if you want to talk about having a body of work
it's not gonna be
and
as
making
consistent.
work that is timeless,
And consistent.
you got to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Like I saw Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
at SNL.
Yeah.
It's impossible to leave that long, not do rooms, not do acting,
And be that good.
and come back and be that good.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, he understands. It's like some people, it's like D'Angelo, right? He took his hiatus for like 14 years and came back with an album. And you know, guys, when they have a huge success album, they come back 15 years later, it's doo-doo. But in this man's case, that album is not only great, but it gets better with time because he knows and he understands his own evolution and stuff like that. So for me, I just like, okay, artists today don't have that understanding of music. It's like 1 to 2 layers.
Yeah.
I mean, the music today has only 1 to 2 layers of how good it is.
But it's deeper than that. Music that is timeless
Oh, yeah.
is
Always.
deeper than that.
Always.
And that's why it's sampled and resampled and resampled. Because there's layers to that.
Well, it's funny because you could play an old song from the 60s and 70s and you feel like you put 4 songs in one song.
Yeah. There's songs that's been sampled, like just
different parts.
fragmented and fragmented so much. I mean, that's all that Kanye does. Well, what's her name? Nina Simone. I don't know how many tracks that Kanye took from Nina. The same track that he just chopped, one track, chopped another bit, one track. It's like, yeah, he's using everything.
And to be clear, we're not one of those old people who hates new music. I love a lot of people what they're doing right now.
Yep.
Big fan. I recognize the difference between the time, I didn't even grow up in that time. That's like my parents' generation.
Pretty
but
much.
I recognize how their music is just, there was a quality to it that is timeless to me.
Yep.
That is like inherently like cannot be denied. And nowadays, I don't know if we have that same quality because I'm not nostalgic about other categories. For example, anime, I think it's the best place it's ever been. Some people will be like, no, before. I'm like, no, today, right now, they're making the best stuff ever. I feel that way about a lot of industries. And so I'm not one of those people who's stuck in the past all the time.
Back then it was based on knowledge. Now it's based on trends.
Yeah.
Because they need to sell.
Yeah. And you know, this is not one of them shits that's going to sell, but
One note.
bruv, I knew what was coming and it's still hitting me and it's still giving me goosebumps.
One note.
Who's going to start a song like this today?
It's just variation of that note, up and down.
I can't. I'm going to get too excited. Like, literally, my face is full. They're not trying to make a hit.
No. If it's that note, it's that note. I'm going to play that note. I could play that note the whole song. I'm going to play them 3 notes. At some point, my soul is telling me not even to be on beat. I'm just going to feel it. Boom, boom, ba-doom, doom, ba-doom, doom. I feel it. That's it. Oh,
Bruv, it just...
that shit is dope.
So that's why when I hear music today, I'm like, it's good. Like, I can tell in terms of how it's like sequence, it's well done. But I don't know if it reaches to the level where it hits home for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I hear this stuff and I'm just like, what's happening? Like, I knew I was going to play this for you.
Yeah.
I listened to it earlier and I played it again and it still hit home.
Yeah.
And there's just certain works of art that do that to you.
Every time, home run.
Yeah. And I guess maybe the substances that they were taking at that time just enabled them to just focus on that feeling.
You doing that, you're seeing things, of course.
Good to know, because I think I'm going to just get back on the mush. But yeah, this is just an interesting theory. I really liked what he had to say about it, and it gives me a lot of stuff to think about.
I'm not saying that I'm right, though.
Yeah,
but
it's just a theory.
It makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes, yeah. It's also possible that it's just one of the many pieces.
Listen, you listen to the track and it sounds like what they took.
Yeah.
If I listen to Kurt Cobain, I'm so lonely. 'Cause today I found my friends in my head. I know what you took, bro.
Yeah. Radiohead?
'Cause I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell I'm doing here?
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet home. Hey, give me that Jagger right there. Okay, you're bringing out the Hennessy. I don't want no Hennessy. Bring the Jack Daniel. All right, Sweet Home Alabama. You know what he took.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of this and some hard liquor. That's what it was. It sounds like it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
I'm pretty sure I'm right on the money with this one.
But anyways, we want to hear what your theories are. Why do you think music has changed so much over the couple of years? Obviously, the industry's changed in terms of the independence and how people make money and all that stuff. But we want to know, in terms of the quality of the music, the timelessness of it all, why do you think it's changed so much? Leave your comments below.